This video, I have a two-part thing, and each question actually has two parts to it. So let's get into it. What is the value of secant of 30 degrees and secant of 60 degrees? Well, it's important to note that secant is 1 over cosine. Now, the way I remember that is we have sine, cosine, and then secant and cosecant. So the co and the not co pair up with each other. So the secant, which doesn't have a co in it, pairs up with the cosine, which does have a co in it. And then the cosecant, which does have a co in it, pairs up with the sine, which doesn't have a co in it. So this question, secant of 30 degrees, just turned into what is 1 over cosine of 30 degrees. And while that's easy to figure out, we'll just go over to our unit circle. We'll put in 30 degrees right over here, which means that we're going to want to put another 30 degrees right underneath it. And then that makes all of this an equilateral triangle because this is 60, this is 60. So all the angles are equal, so all the sides are going to be equal. Okay, so this length right over here is 1. And, well, if we need to find the secant of 30 and the secant of 60, it's going to be nice to know this this length, the x length and the y length, since they correspond to each other. So the cosine of 30, I'm just going to have to solve for this triangle. So I have, if this is 1, and this whole thing is 1, that means that this right over here is going to be 1/2. So now I can use the Pythagorean theorem because I know this is 1, this is 1/2. I just need to find this x length over here. So I have 1 squared, which is 1, is equal to 1/2 squared, which is 1/4, plus x squared. So x squared is 3/4, which means x is the square root of 3 over 2. Okay? And the other value of x for these 60 degrees, I'm just going to write a note that this is for 30 degrees. And then for 60 degrees, it's going to be 1/2. And if you need more concrete proof that that's true and that this would be the 61 and 31, or that this length right over here is the 61, I'm not just messing with you, you can try it out yourself. So anyways, the secant of 30, that is 1 over the cosine of 30, and the cosine of 30 is the square root of 3 over 2. So that's going to be 1 divided by the square root of 3 over 2, which is equal to 1 times 2 over the square root of 3, which is equal to 2 over the square root of 3. So that is my answer to write up here. Now for secant of 60 degrees, it's going to be 1 divided by 1 over 2, which is going to be equal to 2. And so that is what the secant of 60 degrees is. Okay. So now I need to find the value of cosecant of 30 and cosecant of 60. So again, cosecant, since that has the co, this one's not going to have the co, so cosecant is equal to 1 over sine. Okay, so I need to find out what 1 over sine of 30 degrees is, and 1 over sine of 60 degrees. So let me go over here and draw my unit circle. If I have the 30 and the 60 degrees, I'll just start with the 30 degrees, draw my little stuff right over here. This is just what I did right above, nothing new. So the sine of 30 degrees, that's going to be the y value, that's going to be equal to 1/2. So this just became 1 divided by 1/2. So that's 1 divided by 1/2, which is equal to 1 times 2, which is equal to 2. So that means that cosecant of 30 is equal to 2. Now the cosecant of 60, like we did above, we found out that this length right over here is the square root of 3 over 2. So the cosecant of 60 is going to be 1 over square root of 3 over 2, which is 1 divided by the square root of 3 over 2, which is 1 times 2 over the square root of 3. So we have 2 over the square root of 3 as the value for cosecant of 60 degrees. Now here's why I chose both of these problems in particular. You can see that the secant of 30 degrees is equal to the cosecant of 60 degrees, and the cosecant of 30 degrees is equal to the secant of 60 degrees. That's basically because just about everything is like somehow related, whether it's inverse or directly, and that's really just what I wanted to show you to this video, how both of these things are just inversely related. Anyways, thank you much for watching. Goodbye.